All right, Ted, welcome.
I feel welcome, yes indeed. The Sportsman's Paradise with Ted Nugent. I'm home. It's perfect.
So this is an enormous outdoor expo. I think you know a little bit about it, what you're here for. We have an enormous, like you said, Sportsman's Paradise. This is an outdoor families weekend, you know, to come and do this. What are you most looking forward to, or what do you kind of expect from the crowd this weekend?
Well, if you look me right in the eye, you'll see that my life revolves around outdoor family weekends. You know, I tour like a rock and roll animal, but I always make sure that's during the summer, so I have the entire hunting season off. I hunt on an average of 300 days a year, because even when I'm on tour, I got hunting buddies every place, and there's always a squirrel or a muskrat we can go after. So it really is my lifestyle, and I know the people that will be coming to this expo, especially in Lafayette, Louisiana, would qualify as the most, I believe, admirable term you can apply to a fellow man, and that would be a blood brother, a spirit of the wild, conservationist, resource steward, hunting, fishing, trapping, being one with God's creation and using it with reverence and respect, and why Thanksgiving is so important to us, because even though it's summer, we still celebrate thanksgiving to God for his renewable resources. I mean, it really is that simple. Even guitar players can figure this out. So I'm honored and I'm really appreciative to be invited here, especially coming in with someone like Nugent Allen West.
Oh,
you know, we are blood brothers,
yes.
and the politics of the hunting, fishing, and trapping lifestyle has always been the tip of the culture war spear. There are people that would ban the expo. There are people that would ban Ted Nugent. There are people that would ban the perfection of wise utility of God's renewable resources. So that Louisiana is the Sportsman's Paradise is my lifestyle. I mean, I'm not a resident of Louisiana, but I think I could be the mayor. And with a governor like Governor Jindal and the great representation that the residents of Louisiana has down here, I feel like I'm home. I really do. I've rock and rolled in Louisiana all my life, and I've done a little bit of outdoor celebration, but this expo is going to be an Uncle Ted weekend, I promise you.
So with everything that's going to be there, you know, it's the Cajun Dome Convention Center next door. There's everything from boats to vehicles to weapons to, you know, everything you can imagine.
All the hardware you would find in Ted Nugent's truck, yes.
So where would we find you if you're roaming around and we're looking for you to be somewhere? Where are you going to be?
You know, I love it all. I hunt, fish, trap. I love archery. I love firearms marksmanship. I'm an aim small, miss small guy. I think I would probably migrate towards wherever young people are hanging. Of course, at the tender age of 67, everyone's young people. But I have a Ted Nugent Camp for Kids that we started 25 years ago, and I am convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that the future of conservation, if not freedom overall in America, rests in the education and the inspiration of young people. So if there's a little kids fishing booth or something, I'd probably end up over there watching bobbers or helping the kids learn to scale and fillet God's wonderful nutrition. But I love the guns, I love the ammo, I love the archery, I love the traps, I love the cooking, I love the tree stands and the ground blinds. I mean, you can't name a sporting goods product that I don't have too many of. Wow. Mrs. Nugent is grinning over there. But I really live this life. Our Spirit of the Wild show is the #1 hunting show ever, and I appreciate everyone's vote for that. But it's because I don't play games. I don't apologize, and I don't defend anything. I promote and celebrate the perfection of hunting, fishing, and trapping. Let me finalize it by saying that without hunting, fishing, and trapping value of those wildlife resources, there would be no source of quality air, soil, and water, because quality air, soil, and water can only come from wildlife habitat, which is the direct product of American hunting families, whether it's Ducks Unlimited, Delta Waterfowl, Rocky Mountain Elk, the National Turkey Federation, Whitetails Unlimited, the Grouse Society, the Trout Unlimited. It is the hunters, fishermen, and trappers who have ultimately safeguarded quality air, soil, and water. So if you want to find the ultimate environmentalist, by the way, I've planted over 100,000 trees, just these greasy Motown guitar fingers. And if you want to find people who really care about a quality of life and quality of the environment, you're going to find somebody with a hunting license, a fishing license, and a trapping license. So I'm just going to hang around and celebrate my blood brothers who love this lifestyle.
And what a pair, Colonel West and Ted Nugent. You can't pick a better pair. What are you up to these days? What do you have going on?
I'm taking him hunting this year. He's going to come to Texas and go hunting. In fact, he's moved to Texas. So we're right down the road. I'm going to take you out for some venison.
We can do that. I love this. Well, the most important thing for me is I head up a conservative policy center, and what I want to do is make sure that we have a government that operates in the right constraints and restraints of the Constitution so that we can continue to have the sportsman's paradise, so we can continue to have people that can go out and enjoy nature and what God has blessed us with to hunt, to fish, and to trap. Because what you find out is you have a lot of people in Washington, D.C. that believe they have the best intentions, but their intentions are not in line with truly what the traditions of the American frontiersman and traditions of the American hunter are. So I can't think of a better thing for me to be here with Ted Nugent, who I grew up loving, and listening to as a young man. That's kind of interesting for me to be in Louisiana because, number one, I was born and raised in Atlanta, so I'm a Falcons fan. And then number two, I went to the University of Tennessee. So I may have to watch my back while I'm here.
I got it.
So you come here sort of on an interesting day for us. You've written, on your personal website and post sort of what Lafayette's dealing with, and it's something that's been dealt with in other places. What is your kind of 30,000 foot view of the situation and how the city moves forward?
Well, the city has responded how you would think it would. It's a great community, and just the same as you saw in Charleston, what you don't need are the outsiders to come in and try to leverage this for political advantage, and that's what we want to make sure does not happen. And I can't think of a better time to be here to try to support this community. I've been here once before. I've driven through here several times, but if I can lend some, my prayers, that's what I'm here to do. But what we don't want to see happen is all of a sudden people try to attribute this to something that it is not. This was one crazy person that came through here and decided to do a very heinous, nefarious thing. It does not mean that we need people to start talking about Second Amendment, gun rights, and things of that nature, because a gun by itself cannot hurt a person. It takes an individual to do something, and this was an individual's act. And he is no longer with us. God rest his soul wherever he goes. But the most important thing is for the healing of the families who lost their loved ones and for the victims who will go forward.
And so what advice would you give to someone who has young kids who live in Lafayette and who is kind of struggling with what's next? How do you explain it to kids, and how do you let it change your way of life?
You can't let it change your way of life, and that's one of the things we're struggling with the aspect of Islamic terrorism here in our countryside, on our homeland. We cannot allow these isolated incidents to change who we are, and the best and most important thing is to talk to your children. Get them to understand what happened, that this was one individual, and that there is evil in the world, as Ted was talking about when we walked in here. And the best thing to do is to pray to God Almighty to strengthen us and make us better men and women of character so that we can stand up to evil.
Great. That's all I have. I appreciate your time. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you this week.